My name's Ruth Sando and we're in the historic community of Milparinka, northwestern New South Wales, corner country. My husband and children and I live on a station property. Well, my children have grown up, but so my husband and I are still about 100 odd kilometres away. We moved into the district in 1980 and I can distinctly remember driving up the road, we were going to Tibooburra. We came in on the road just out here and the first thing we saw when we came into Milparinka was this beautiful sandstone courthouse. Milparinka was established in the 1880s as one of the 4 towns of the Albert goldfields. In about the 1870s, gold was discovered in the hills that run from Mount Brown to the west of us here, north-easterly towards Tibooburra, about 50 kilometre range of gold-bearing ore. And over a period of years, mining took place, alluvial gold at Mount Brown, quartz gold out about halfway to Tibooburra, and then effluvial gold in Tibooburra. But they needed a community with water, a place with water, and here in Milparinka, on the Evelyn Creek, there was a lovely water hole, hence we're here in Milparinka. The volunteer program are actually the backbone of all of this. I live over 100 kilometres away, so one can't be here to clean, operate, tell people the stories every day. And they pour the ore down and it would trickle down so that I'm approached by people who would like to come, and so I'll just do up a roster of all these people. We've got this gorgeous little cottage at the back here that's been restored from the old police station kitchen, so people stay there. And what is wonderful about that is that we have a whole group of people who themselves are passionate about the Milparinka story.
So I'm Judy Smith and I'm a volunteer at Milparinka Visitor Centre, about 40 kilometres south of Tibooburra, and this is Wally.
Who's also a volunteer.
He's also a volunteer, yes.
Well, we've always had a great interest in the outback, love of the outback, and we've been out here many times, and we happened to meet Ruth a couple of years ago, camping on her property, and found out about the program from her and thought, that sounds interesting.
I think the history gives a whole context to life, really. That's getting a bit deep, isn't it? But we came out here initially with our 2 granddaughters, who were around 10 and 8 at that time, and for them they were amazed how people lived in the past and also how isolated it is. How do children live out here and so on? And I think it's just a part of our history, a part of our lives.
What we're left with is the legacy of these buildings, these beautiful sandstone buildings, and it's I think that had we not set to and restored them, within probably a few more years they'd be just another pile of sandstone rubble blowing in the dust. And it's too good a story and too much a part of our heritage to let it go.
The history goes well beyond these ruins. There's an Aboriginal history here, which you can see old evidence of the Aboriginal occupation still here, and you can see the evidence of the explorers coming through Sturt and so on down at Depot Glen, and the Pool's grave and so on. And now this Milparinka 1880s, 1900s type history, and now modern history, Wi-Fi in the visitor centre.
Its story today is it's a very small population, has a very small population with just permanent residents. Philip and Rebecca are at the hotel and their 4 children, and then 2 other people who have been in the district and the township for a number of years.
We've got a total township population of around about a floating 12.
I'm from Adelaide originally. My auntie and uncle used to own the place, and I just fell in love with it as a kid, and then I came up to help them out and ended up managing the place and meeting Phil in between.
My hat again!
Oh,
But I said when I was a kid that I wanted to buy this place one day and never thought it would become a reality. It's always been a dream of mine, and yeah, one of those dreams that came true.
The pub is a freehold hotel, but it does belong to part of the township of Milparinka, which is the old gold mining township. And a horse paddock goes with a Western Lands lease, which involves the whole township of Milparinka, which is 440 blocks of land, believe it or not, which is all part of the hotel, yeah. So we basically own a town.
I think it's that horizon that goes on forever, the peace and quiet. I just love the countryside.
Big spaces,
Yeah,
great.
and no, it's just free. You're just free to do things. You're not crammed in a tiny backyard. And the kids have just got so much more freedom. They can just, like they hop on their motorbike in the afternoon and they're just and so happy and exploring, and it's just completely different than being in country, because we lived in country, but outback is just, it's completely different again. It's just so much freer. Homeschooling, so doing School of the Air and like trying to be their teacher, and then afterwards taking that teacher hat off and trying to be their mum.
So your task is to write a number sentence.
For me, I wouldn't have it any other way. The seasons can be rather challenging, and there have been some really low points in the years that we've been here, both for my husband and myself and the children. But when we look at where we are and what we have around us, it's an amazing life, and I'm just so grateful that I've been able to that it's been my life, and hopefully for many more years to come. I guess, as Mr. Facey wrote in his book, My Fortunate Life, this is my fortunate life. Yeah.